The accidental hero. Harold was an unassuming librarian in the quirky town of Quillville. He spent his days surrounded by books, living a quiet life in the shadows of tall shelves. Quillville was a small, close-knit community where everyone knew everyone. Harold liked it that way. His routine was simple, and he found solace in the predictability. One bright morning, Harold decided to take a rare trip to Samantha's coffee shop, a cozy nook known for its warm pastries and even warmer conversations. Samantha, the owner, was a sharp-witted woman who always had a sarcastic comment at the ready. Despite her tough exterior, she had a soft spot for the townsfolk. Harold ordered his usual, a plain black coffee, and settled into a corner table with his favorite novel. The day seemed like any other, but fate had a twist planned. As Harold sipped his coffee, a scruffy man burst into the shop, brandishing a banana and yelling, "This is a stick-up." The patrons stared in disbelief. Samantha, unimpressed, leaned on the counter and said, "A banana? Really?" But the man was insistent, waving the fruit with exaggerated menace. Harold, caught off guard, stood up, intending to back away quietly. Instead, he tripped over his own shoelaces, sending a stack of books flying towards the robber. The books hit the man squarely, causing him to drop the banana and fall backwards. The whole shop erupted in laughter as Samantha called Deputy Tom. Deputy Tom arrived, puffing and panting. He was a lovable but clumsy officer who often caused more problems than he solved. Today, he was a bit more efficient. "Great job, Harold," Tom exclaimed, slapping Harold on the back. "You stopped the robbery." Harold blinked, stunned. He hadn't meant to do anything heroic. Word of Harold's accidental bravery spread quickly. By afternoon, Mayor Gloria had arrived at the library with a bouquet of flowers and a journalist in tow. Gloria, always eager for good publicity, declared, "Harold, you're Quillville's hero." The journalist snapped photos while Harold tried to hide behind a stack of books. Harold's modest attempt to correct the narrative was drowned out by the mayor's enthusiastic speech. "We need more people like you," she proclaimed. Over the next few days, Harold's life changed drastically. People waved and smiled at him in the streets. Children asked for his autograph. He was baffled. Samantha, seeing Harold's discomfort, teased him mercilessly. "So, superhero, what's your next move?" Harold just sighed, wishing things would return to normal. But normal was not on the agenda. One afternoon, a cat got stuck in a tree near the park. Someone shouted, "Get Harold. He'll save it." Harold tried to refuse, but the crowd insisted. He awkwardly climbed the tree, only to have the cat leap down on its own. The crowd cheered anyway. Harold's unintended heroics continued. A small fire at the bakery. Harold happened to be passing by with a bucket of water. A lost dog? Harold found it. Each incident was pure coincidence, but the town's belief in Harold's heroism grew stronger. Harold felt trapped in a web of absurd expectations. Deputy Tom, feeling overshadowed, tried to up his game. Unfortunately, his attempts often ended in slapstick comedy, much to the amusement of the town. Meanwhile, Samantha became Harold's confidant. "Just go with it," she advised, handing him a coffee. "What's the worst that could happen?" One day, a group of teenagers decided to stage a mock robbery at the town square to see if Harold would rise to the occasion. They wore comically bad disguises. As Harold walked by, the robbers jumped out, yelling. Harold, startled, dropped his books and let out a yelp, causing one of the teenagers to trip over. The fall set off a chain reaction of pratfalls and clumsy attempts to recover, which ended with everyone laughing on the ground. Harold was mortified. Despite the humor, the mayor saw another opportunity for good PR. "Our hero thwarts another robbery, Gloria declared, her grin as wide as ever. Harold tried to protest, but the town's adoration grew. He was now the symbol of courage and quick thinking, even if his actions were anything but intentional. Samantha, ever the realist, said, "Harold, maybe you should just embrace it. At least the town's happy." Harold nodded, but he still felt like a fraud. Then came the day that changed everything. A real thief, hearing of Quillville's superhero, decided to challenge Harold. He planned a robbery at the bank. The town was buzzing with anticipation. Would Harold be able to save the day again? The mayor organized a celebration in advance, confident in their hero. Harold, dreading the attention, hoped nothing would happen. But as he walked past the bank, the thief made his move, brandishing a real weapon this time. The bank staff screamed, and chaos ensued. Harold, terrified, tried to slip away unnoticed. But the thief spotted him and sneered, "Not so brave now, are you?" Harold stammered, trying to explain, but his words were lost in the panic. The thief advanced, and Harold, in a last-ditch effort, threw his coffee cup. The hot coffee splashed onto the thief's face, causing him to drop his weapon and howl in pain. Deputy Tom, finally in the right place, tackled the man. The town erupted in cheers, but Harold felt no relief. He knew it was pure luck, not bravery. As the mayor congratulated him, he finally spoke up. "I'm not a hero," Harold said firmly. "I've just been in the wrong place at the right time. You don't need me. You need each other." Silence fell over the crowd. Harold continued, "Look at Deputy Tom. He's the real hero. And Samantha, who keeps us all caffeinated and sane." Mayor Gloria, for once at a loss for words, nodded slowly. The townspeople exchanged glances, realizing the truth in Harold's words. Samantha stepped forward, clapping. "He's right. We all have a part to play. Let's stop looking for a hero and start being there for each other." The crowd began to murmur in agreement. Deputy Tom blushed but looked pleased. The townspeople started to see their own potential for everyday heroism. Harold felt a weight lift off his shoulders. He wasn't a hero in the traditional sense, but he had brought the town together in a way he never expected. The mayor, ever the politician, saw an opportunity. "From now on, let's celebrate the Quillville spirit. Together, we can handle anything." The town cheered, this time for themselves. Harold slipped away, feeling a sense of peace he hadn't felt in weeks. He returned to his beloved library. That evening, Samantha found Harold at the library. She handed him a coffee and said, "You did good, Harold. Maybe not a hero, but a great librarian." Harold smiled, taking the coffee. "Thanks, Samantha. I think I'm okay with just being me." They shared a quiet moment, appreciating the simplicity of life. News of the Quillville spirit spread, and soon other towns were adopting similar attitudes. Harold's accidental heroism had sparked something wonderful. The library saw more visitors than ever, people inspired by Harold's humility and the town's newfound camaraderie. Books flew off the shelves. Deputy Tom gained confidence and improved his skills, no longer trying to live up to an impossible standard. He became a better officer and a better friend. Samantha's coffee shop thrived, becoming the heart of the community where people gathered to share stories, laugh, and support one another. Mayor Gloria used her knack for publicity to highlight the town's strengths, focusing on real stories of everyday courage and kindness. Harold continued to live his quiet life, but now with a sense of fulfillment. He had helped his town see the best in themselves, even if it was by accident. One day, a child asked Harold for a book on heroes. Harold smiled and handed him a book about ordinary people doing extraordinary things. The child looked up and said, "Like you, Mr. Harold?" Harold chuckled. "Maybe a little. but mostly like you and everyone else in this town. As the seasons changed, Quillville remained a place where everyone looked out for each other. The spirit of togetherness became its defining feature. Harold's accidental heroism was still a favorite story, told and retold with laughter and affection. It became part of the town's quirky charm. Harold often reflected on how a simple, unplanned act could lead to such a profound change. He was content with his place in the world. The town learned that heroism wasn't about grand gestures, but about the little things people did for each other every day. That was the true spirit of Quillville. And so, the mild-mannered librarian Harold, once thrust into an unwanted spotlight, found his peace. The town flourished, united and stronger than ever. In the end, Quillville didn't need a hero. It needed people like Harold, Samantha, Deputy Tom, and everyone else, each bringing their own magic to the community.